Welcome. My name is Naomi Karemi. I am a birth, postpartum, and bereavement doula in the Leiden area. If you've been here before, thank you for sticking around, and there is more goodness coming. So today, I want to touch a little bit about special parenting. Parents who are raising children with any form of disability. Disability varies in many ways, and there are some who are living with a disability that is not written on the forehead, but because it's not so obvious, many people can be a bit dismissive and maybe a little bit belittling. And so I'm going to touch on a few of the disabilities that I am dealing with in my everyday life and how I am still able to look human. So many of my clients, particularly the couples who invite me in their homes to walk with them through their journey of pregnancy, birth, and life after, they're actually amazed at what it is that I leave behind to go and be of service to them. Now, if you have been following my stories on Instagram or you have been present in any of my clubhouse rooms, which are every Monday and Thursday at 9 o'clock GMT. I'm in the Netherlands. And on Thursdays, we meet at the same time. And the clubhouse rooms are Monday is Layers Within with Naomi or Naomi's Live podcast. And then on Thursday, we meet with a lovely sister of mine back in the States, Andrea Little Mason or Dr. Dula, and her rooms are connections with Dr. Dula, and we speak a lot about the daughters of the African diaspora. So join the clubhouse rooms on Monday and Thursdays and share the space with us. If you've been in the rooms, you would have heard me a few times share my experiences, especially when we have moms who join the floor and sometimes they're sharing their own real lived experiences and looking for stories that they can hold on to reflect back on, or a story that they can just hold on to, and more connecting, that they don't feel like they're going through some things on their own. Now, this is the thing about trauma and experiencing it. Most of the times when you're going through it, the thick of things, you normally would feel like you're the only one in this whole world going through it. I have been there. So I'll share a little bit of my experience as a special mom and how it is my everyday life is and how I'm raising my children different. Now, as a parent, you know that your children's needs are going to be completely different depending on their ages and what needs they have. If you're a mom raising a disabled child or a child who is abled differently, you will find that your other children's needs are going to be completely different to what your disabled child's needs are going to be like. For me personally, we deal with seizures a lot in the night. So many times in the morning, if I am able to get up in the morning and really make myself look human, it's by God's grace. Because sometimes we alternate as a couple. We alternate in who stays up, who gets up, who attends to our son. And then, the following day we do the same. So as a couple in my house, we know that none of us can get drunk until we are drunk for the sake of getting drunk, because our responsibilities are completely different to our own friends. So my husband, being in the council, he has managed to actually bring people to understand why it is sometimes he denies himself certain things, and why it is that some things that can be fun are not fun for us, because our responsibilities are completely different. So as a friend, when you're being spoken to by a parent who is a special needs, understand that there are some risks that are highly risks. They are bigger than the eye can see, because that is the fear that gets built up deep within when you have lost the perfect child. So I have had a few people who have seen me record downstairs in my living room, and they have seen the playpen. They have asked what that playpen is for, who plays in it, and why we need it. So our middle child, Alexander, who is 8 years old, is living with a cerebral palsy following a birth injury and variation of genetics. Many people have also asked me if we knew beforehand, and the answer to you is no. So I say it, or we say it a lot when we go places, because we are a young couple. And sometimes you see the pity in people's faces because, yeah, there's a young couple with a child who is not mobile and so on and so forth. And sometimes you can even see why that is, that they're reading like that, because society has a way of labeling what normal is and what isn't normal. So I'll share a little bit about the hardships that my son goes through, but also the joys that he has brought within the family. So that playpen is a playpen for Alex to play in. That playpen looks new, but it's not. It's almost 8 years old. It was bought when Alexander was about 5 months old so that he had a safe place to play in. My father-in-law is very handy with his hands, so he created the bottom part and raised it up to a height where Alex, should he get mischievous as he's growing, he's not going to be able to climb over it. Now, when we met with the doctors before the diagnosis came, actually, I remember asking a lot of questions. There was us standing up with a whole full scope of things to ask, and none of it had a definite answer. Because one, he was so small. Two, it's a placid organ, and nobody can really put down or estimate what can happen with a brain within a month and the next or the next. So the answers that we had was wait and see, we don't know. Heartbreaking as that was, but we took that. We took the answers and thought to ourselves, we are going to try and make life as comfortable and as near to normal as possible. Because at some point as a parent, you will realize that you will have to decide what energy you're feeding your child. After you have done all the praying, all the crying, all the doubt and asking, all the questioning, because you will question God, you will question your faith, you will be heartbroken. But after all that is done and the dust has come down and you're looking at that child, look through their eyes and see the message that they are conveying to you. Without words, but sometimes all they need is for you to trust and believe in them. If they don't walk eventually, that is fine. If they do not speak also, that is also fine. Now, I said I wasn't gonna cry on this video, but in my line of work, sometimes I'm invited in these very difficult spaces where women have contacted me and asked me, this is the diagnosis we have had, either before baby is born or after baby is born, and I don't know how I'm going to continue. Or a mom calling up after I have donated milk, crying on the phone saying, I just can't believe that my body can fail me this much. It should be able to feed my child and I can't even do that. So I have dealt and I deal with a lot of trauma from other people also. But if I can send a word of hope to you, is to trust the process. It's not going to be easy. And many times you will lose those friends who are absolutely going to promise to be there for you and with you throughout the journey. Because truth be told, life goes on and their lives will go on. And it's not something that you can blame anybody for continuing with their lives. But hold on to those few who understand the struggles, who appreciate that there are so many things that you have given up on, so many things that you will continue to give up on, to make sure that your child is safe, to make sure that you are able to provide a near to normal experience and life. If you were a couple, what I can send you as a word of hope and wisdom is to always check in with each other. Because trauma has a way of sometimes muting somebody where they're processing things by themselves, but in that mode, you can lose track of each other. Keep track of each other and finding out where the other person is at. It's okay sometimes to stop outside and grasp some air into your own lungs. It's absolutely okay sometimes to say, you know what, up to here is enough. I just need time alone. I need time away. Take the time if you need it. But check in with each other. Encourage each other. And remember that you are each other's cheerleaders, because parenting a child with special needs of whatever magnitude is not easy. Many times you will go and you will find people are staring, not because they are curious, but they're staring because your child looks different from what the world and society is used to. That can be a trigger. But the way to normalize it is keeping your focus on your own child first. Everybody else is secondary. In that moment in time, especially if they're struggling with autism, because I know they can be quite jittery when they're like that, or they can be quite loud, but that is their way and their form of communicating with others. I think for us as a family, what brought so much comfort was that our oldest child, Lucia, has always been close with her brother. So even if we turned up into a camping site, what she would normally do is push him in his pram and introduce him to people. And she would normally say, this is my brother. He doesn't speak. He doesn't walk. But sometimes he will laugh at a joke at the right time, like he understands. He is not aggressive. He cannot hurt you, not willingly, not intentionally. But yeah, this is our Alex. And I don't think we can see life different without Alexander. Because he has had his struggles, but he's had so much triumph moments also. Back in the day when he was born, I remember the doctors literally saying, we simply don't know and we can't really give you an answer. For me, I took it as a blow. I just thought, are you kidding me? You want to tell me medicine is so advanced these days, but there is no bottle in any pharmacy that can cure this? And the answer was no. So of course, as a parent, your world stops. Everything about you goes on a pause, because you need to be able to make sure that when you come back to your senses, you're able to carry on and continue from where you left off when that pause hit. And as a couple, we just consulted each other. They absolutely suggested, seeing therapists and everything else. And I just said, no, it's okay. I want to allow my family and my children to support me through this. My mother was here. My mom was here for 3 months. And if I can tell you something, and one thing that is for real, that I have seen with my own eyes, nothing to do with doula, everything to do with normality and humanity and real, is your birth experience and your immediate postpartum can be a game changer if you have the right people to support you. For us, that was my mom. So my mom walked into the room where my son was born. I haven't shared this actually with many people. But my mother walked in when Alex was born and saw the look on my eyes, on my face, what I was struggling with. There is this baby in front of me and everything else they have told me about him. And now what? And the one thing that she did was she held my shoulder and she said to me, Naomi, you need to let go of that child you were waiting for and accept this one, because this one needs his mother. Now, for me, that was profound. It still is profound. It still brings a tear to my eye now, 8 years down the line. I'll tell you why. Up until she turned up at the hospital, I had had a few doctors who had walked into my room. I had had doctors and nurses who had come and checked my son and recommended and advised and referred, and they were going to write to whoever and whoever. But nobody saw that up here I was listening, but I hadn't landed yet. But my mother did say that. And for me, that was like, it was like somebody flicked the light switch. And from the moment I looked down on him on the bed, I saw him with a different eye. So don't underestimate the value and the weight of family support. Don't underestimate the value of having somebody support you in that immediate moment, regardless how your birth evolves, and especially where the end result is one that is traumatic. If Corona has taught us anything, is how we are resilient, is how family is important, how community is important, and the value of support. We're actually being asked to stop. It wasn't just one area, one part of the world stopped. This was the whole world on a standstill. And life still continued for many. Babies were still born. Incidents were still happening, and a lot, I'm sure. But I'm hoping that through them, you are also supported. So many times when I speak about my husband, I speak about him with a lot of pride, actually, because he is not perfect, far from it, but that example when they gave about backbones, he has been and continues to be my backbone. I couldn't do this life without him behind me. And I think we complement each other in how it is that we raise our children. We have our issues. And one of them that we have realized is that we raised Lucia with a lot of fear as parents. Now, that is something probably you resonate with if you are a special needs parent with other children who were born functioning, is that you tend to project that fear to the other children. Once you have one who has had something that is so impactful, it becomes something that you carry to the next pregnancies. You worry about a lot of things that many people see as normal and nothing to worry about. But we can't blame them. This is where that saying applies. Unless you have been through it, you can never understand. You can appreciate, but unless you have been through it, you can never understand. So if it's any comfort to you, I see you, and I see you through the troubles. I see you through the stress and the trauma and the sadness. And I know exactly that sometimes even those who are close to us don't get it as much as they would want to. It's not easy. It's not for everyone. but we do soldier on. So I am sending you much love. I am sending you much strength, because this road of special parenting is hard. It's hard. We smile because at some point through the whole processing, you have to decide as a parent what kind of energy you are feeding your child, which energy is actually going to benefit him more. But another tip, especially for the Kenyan followers on the channel, I have a tip for you. If you are in Mombasa and you have a child with developmental issues or delays, the person you want who really helped my son also back in the day was Wycliffe Apindi. He's actually a occupational therapist, I think, or physiotherapist in Coast General. But I used to go and see him in Makadara Chemist there. They have like consulting rooms. So I used to travel with Alex when I was in Kenya twice or three times a week also. So it wasn't much of a holiday, but we knew what it was that we wanted. And with Wycliffe, not only did he stretch him up, but he also did a lot of repetitive movements and exercises for him, taught him how to fall the safe way. So he just didn't fall off a bed. He knew to put his hand out and protect himself. And then he made Alexander this sitting brace. So it looked like our African chairs that are made of wood, but it was upright so that he could learn to sit upright with something protecting him. I mean, you hear women out or families out in the villages dig a hole with a child like that, and then they sit him in a hole. Well, Wycliffe actually made a sitting brace, and he made him another one that was a standing brace. And it was the first time I saw Alex stand upright, like stretched upright. So yeah, you need Wycliffe Apindi. If you want his contact, I can find them. Do leave a comment down below and I will find them and connect you with him. He is the best. He does a lot of the therapies in Mombasa, especially where children are still delayed, but also he deals a lot and knows a lot about cerebral palsy. And yeah, I can't recommend them enough. So if you're a special mom yourself, maybe you can share a few tips also, or what has helped, what has worked for your child so far, down in the comments section, so that others can read and see that they're not alone. There are some out there who are sharing their struggles and their tears, and that we are all in this together. They say every household has a cross. I don't like to refer to him as a cross. He has his struggles, but also he brings so much joy and laughter in the family. He can be quite funny in his own ways. He is very calm and gentle. He has so many of those virtues with him. He still doesn't communicate with words, but he has a way of communicating with us, and we actually understand him. So I'll leave it here, keep it short, but I will share more in the stories that I have also come across as a doula, with the homes that I've been invited, with the moms that have spoken to me or contacted me inbox on Facebook, so that you can realize that there is a whole lot of us out there and you're not alone. So I see you. I absolutely see you. I feel with you. I know the root. I know the pain, and I know the pinch of your experience. Everybody's experience is different, but I know the pinch of that journey. And I'm sending you a virtual hug. Keep going. Remember, you are doing the best that you can do. And you're the most important person in your child's life right now. Hard as it may be, because I'm sure it's not easy, but you are doing the best that you can do. And please remember, if you are able and you find somebody that you trust, that you can leave the baby or the child with for 20 minutes, even 10 minutes, to be by yourself, to breathe alone, to let go of things alone. Please do. Look after you so that you can look after your child. Don't forget you. You are of no use to him when you are tired and deflated, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Top up your own cup so that you're able to look after them, because they are heavy, but they're ours. Now I'm sending you love, and I'll catch you up in the next video. If everything that I've shared here has resonated with you, or you think will benefit somebody else from listening or hearing another person's story like mine, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Now, I'm going to say thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. So I will show you the box in detail. This is the box that Alexander plays in. We've had this for a long time. The top part, which is the plastic, is actually a really good plastic. If you can find one with Amazon, I would recommend you get one. See, if I can't remember how much I paid. I think it was like 80 something pounds. But then that is plus delivery and everything else. And then not only is it steady, but it helps you divide your living room into a play area where they can play calmly and keep the mess in one place. That's the benefit of it. Now, my father-in-law, like I explained in the video, is very handy with his hands. He constructed the bottom part where the wood is, and even made all the connecting and made sure that it was sitting or resting on it very sturdily. And then he came up with the idea to put a carpet underneath so that he would fall calmly, so that Alex can fall calmly. And on top of that, we have this. How cute is that? I found this on the internet, and immediately I saw it. I thought, oh, this is something that our household needs. Because one, it's in a language that I know. And two, it's not so often that you find something in your own language in the form of art in these woods. So this is Alexander's box again, where if I need to answer the door, I can go and answer the door, knowing he's in here safely and calmly. And the height of it right now is just by where his ears are. So there's no chance of him jumping out of this one. When he's older, we might think of another solution. But for now, we are keeping it as it is because it suits our room. We had a small house before. Our living room ended where that wall is, that wall there by the playpen. But we extended out in the garden 3.5 meters out. And so now we have all this space for him to roll up, play around, move how he pleases, and just be. So as he's growing older, we might have to replace it, but for right now it works. And then this little one is for Levi. Now he's getting clever. He knows how to open the zip and crawl in and come out. Maybe it's time to get rid of it, because Levi is not Alex. That's another thing with special parenting, is you get so used to being careful and catering for their needs in a very scary way that it takes a lot for you to shake off the reality and really tell yourself, Levi is not Alex. Yes, but Levi is not Alex. Levi, you can give him bread and he will chew it by himself. Levi can suck on a chicken bone. Alexander can't. You know, but it takes a while, and it takes a lot of remembering and reminding each other also, which is not easy. Yeah, I just wanted to share that box so you can see and get the idea what I was talking about.